Rolling easy, back in the easy garage, back at ya. Okay, this is gonna be a 100% video. What they call them, premium cars. So I was chatting with Kirby. If you don't know him, Curb's Garage. He's on YouTube. Check him out. We were doing a little chat back and forth this morning about premiums, and I'll go into premium cars. Now, the 100% cars, you've seen my box sets, and there's Chewy. If you notice, he's got his back turned. He's got his back turned to me. Me and him got in an argument after the videos yesterday, and he said, I'm not posting anything that he likes. So the next video, I'm going to do a video for him. But in the meantime, let's get into this one. We're going to do the 100% cars. If you don't know what they are. Now, these came in a black box, a little bit bigger. All of mine have been taken out of the box in these cubes, and we'll get into all of these that I have. And this is almost half of them, but these are the ones that don't have any kind of rubber bands on them. And then the next video, it may be longer, but we will try to get all the rubber bands off the cars that have rubber bands. But in the meantime, we'll get into that. So, way back when, in the 80s, let's see what this was, 1982, Hot Wheels did series cars like these, and they were all different, around 82, and they started marketing them. You had Real Riders, Workhorses, all of those, and they were just in their own original, deco packaging. But back then, this was not a premium. A Real Rider car wasn't even a premium. This was sold at the same price. If Zare had them, we had a Zare, so I bought a lot of Real Riders from Zare. I have ones with stickers on them that I bought originally. But if they were 69 cents, these were only 69 cents back then. They weren't premiums. They were just regular cars on the shelf. And you could buy a Real Rider or you could buy a basic wheel car. They were all the same price. But these have gone up, and people chase Real Riders. And the reason for that was the 1995 treasure hunts came out, and some of them had Como wheels, I think they call them, and which were not Real Riders, but fancier wheels and Real Rider tires. They're in the house. I didn't bring the 95s out to show. But before 95, the first premium cars, this is back in between 1993 and right at 1995. These would be your premium cars. And they had Real Rider tires, and you would see they were always limited. They didn't have a punch in them because they weren't sold in stores. These premium cars would go to dealers that either paid for, they would want their logo on it, or they would want their store on it. And they were limited runs, and you can see the back. If you can see the cars that were on there, it's probably, Ruby Red Passion. There was 10,000 of those, 5,000 of the gold Cadillacs. This one here, the T-Bucket, there was 7,000. And they would go to dealers, and the dealers would be at the flea markets. There were online sites. I can't remember offhand a couple of the guys' names. but you would buy them through the mail, through their site, or hopefully go to a car show and there'd be a dealer that would get a case of them and they'd be selling them. Now these sold at the, back then they were selling, depending on the car and the number and how hot it was. Like back then, the Ruby Red Passion, I think people had them on their tables for $20 a piece. And I don't know what the dealers were paying for them at the time. They're probably getting a good deal and then making money. And this was probably, back then, it was probably 20, maybe. $15 to $20, probably a $20 car. But now the prices on these have dropped. People don't really chase them. And if, I don't know why, because there's only 7,000. And the treasure hunts came out in 95 and there was 10,000 of those. But, you know, prices go up and down. Maybe these are higher now. I don't know. I haven't looked them up. But these were your first premiums. Then came the treasure hunts in 95. And they were doing so good with that, Mattel blew it out of the water in 1996. Now in 1996, they came out with these cars. They were a premium line. I believe they're around close to $8 when they hit the shelves. But they were in these cubes. And they were doing this way, way before M2 and all these other companies started putting them in cubes. And I wish Mattel would go back to that and put these kind of cars in the stores. But this is something now you would buy online from like Redline Club or something. And now they're, what, Redline Club start at 25. I've never joined the Redline Club, so I don't even know. I just buy them. People buy them for whatever, $25, and then I buy them when I can get them cheaper, $20, $15. But these were highly detailed and screwed in the base. So there's that one. We got, I don't know the names of them. This one here was in a, it was in one of the gift packs, but then it came out in the single, and this red. This one had a rubber band on it. See, what I'm doing is, a lot of times the rubber bands will start to deteriorate. Don't try and pull them off the car. If you open this up, if you open the cube, you can kind of pull the rubber band off. This one's flaking off. I let them flake off and see it didn't damage the paint at all. So we'll get into the cars I have and rubber bands later. But there's one Tomart book. There's only one, I believe. The 5th edition that shows all these premium cars and has them priced. And that was, oh, what is that? 25 years ago, so we can't go by the pricing, but we'll go through what I have here in these. There's a lowrider, looks like a Bel Air, got the hydraulics. Now these had working suspension, almost like the, oh, who made those? There's some cool working suspension lowriders. But now Mattel's doing them again, and they're selling them at the Redline Club for $25 and up. But these you could buy in Walmart. They had them Walmart. I don't know if Target had them. Kmart had them, I believe. And they were like $8 in a little black box. Really cool. We'll move on. Let's whip through them so we can get on to the next one. I think this is called the Invader. This was a California show car. And I got a couple of these that aren't screwed in. Let's see one. Here's one like a Larry Wood. And it is the 1950s Mercury wagon. So you can see the detail in them. I'll show you the undercarriage. So when you take them off, they were totally detailed. Some of these cars had a lot of parts. This one looks all painted, but some of them had actually little parts and stuff. Really cool, really neat. I was somewhere one time and I seen some, look at this thing. This actually, this one they used for the American Graffiti. Excuse me. The American Graffiti car later down the road. But this one, it's really neat. It's got the moon eyes. I think 32 Ford Roadster. Let's see if there's any more Roadsters. Not offhand. There's like a fantasy vehicle right there. Really neat. It's got the one tire in the back, two up front, kind of like a drag bike. You lay down. That's neat. All right, up next, here's another one that's loose. Let's see the detail on the bottom of this one. If I can get it open. Okay, this one's all just painted also, but very, very detailed. Very detailed. They had opening hoods, all Real Rider tires. They all had their own special wheels. Very detailed. Mattel did good with that back in the day. I think this only lasted up until about 2000. That's another loose one there. Pretty cool. Cadillac. Got the surfboards in the back. This had to be designed by Larry Wood. No doubt with the surfboards. Check this out. Your Hot Wheels Snake. Drag funny car. Opens up. I'm surprised this one didn't have a rubber band in it, but it held up without the rubber band. If it had the rubber band, the paint would have been peeling off. Check this thing out. Hummer. Who doesn't like a nice Hummer, huh? There's yellow. And another drag car. Mac Tools advertised on it. Hot Wheels funny car. Really cool. They did some cool models in these. Oh, this one's awesome. Look at this Camaro. Is it a 69 Camaro? It is really cool, really detailed. It does have an opening hood. The hood does open on this. You can see the slicks in the back and the wheelie bars. Drag car. That one's cool. There's a Mercury. Everybody's crazy about a Mercury. Kind of a pale color, but highly detailed. Graphics. Lots of chrome. Chrome around the windshields. You can see nothing's painted. It's all actually nice chrome headlights. Here's one that's opened. What's this, a Shelby? Kind of loose in there. Really cool in the British green. This is a Chip Foose design car, I believe. Pretty neat. They didn't advertise it as Chip Foose, and it may have been Larry Wood just designing this close to that model. But they did do a Chip Foose set. They also did some to recreate the red lines. There's your custom Firebird. Now this one here, let me open it because I'll show you. This one had, I thought the rubber band was off of it. See if I can get it open. Oh man, I ended up breaking it. Anyway, if you look real close in there, you'll see where the rubber band tore the paint up a little bit. I'd like to get it open. But that's what those little rubber bands would do. If we knew that back then, we would have opened them all and took those bands off. Which, there's cars out there. Here's a Dodge Viper in black. And before this car came out, I was at a toy show, and it didn't have the stripes on it at the time. But there was one of the guys I know that dealt with Mattel tossed it to me, and I said, that's pretty cool. I said, that's a pretty neat car right there. And he said, you know what that is you're holding? I said, no. He said, well, that's the prototype. I said, okay. So that was pretty cool. He had the prototype of that. Here's another 50s Merc, Larry Wood. This one's loose in there. You've already seen the other one, so we had it in red and blue. And another Caddy wagon, 4-door with the surfboards. And that one's in a minty green, mint green. Lowrider, that's the big thing now. Everyone's into the lowriders. I build lowriders. I have two 68s, or no, I have two 63 Impalas and a 68. The 63 is close to being finished. I have all the parts, and we're just getting ready to paint it. So I'll do a video on that. You can look back and see the progress. I did put a video out of that. And then I have more Impalas and real cars. Here's another lowrider. These all have working suspension. This one's all down now. But when you unscrew it out of this base, you can move the suspension like the new Impalas. There's another one. There's a Monte Carlo with working suspension. You can see that one all jacked up in the front. And another lowrider, Buick. Got your lowrider patterns all over it. This one here has working suspension also when you take it out of the cube. Oh, another lowrider. There you go. And that one, I think this is another Buick. The same thing? Yeah. Yeah, this one's same. Yeah, same Buick. But that one's up. So you can tell it has working suspension. This one, they didn't do that, which they should have. They probably would have sold more. And then last up on this video is another. These cars, some of these cars remind me of Tim the Toolman Taylor. And this one is just painted, detailed base. But you customizers would love these now. Now this one's riveted. Some of them are screwed together, I believe. But you can see how detailed they were. Opening hood. Really, really cool. Really neat. This one, I don't know if that's like a California deco. Looks like something out of Florida, right? You can see that cruising around Palm Beach. Anyway, that's what we got for premium loose cars. Just a little education on premiums. And look, he hasn't even turned around. He's still got his... I'm going to do your video. Okay, well, we'll take care of him and on the next video, I believe. But just wanted to share that with you. Maybe a little bit of knowledge, something you guys haven't seen those premiums, but I remember buying them in the store. I bought all these cars out of the store, and plenty more. So thanks for watching and subscribing. Don't forget, stay easy and keep on turning Hot Wheels.